James Martell here. Webmasterradio.fm has something that every affiliate marketer should be buzzing about. Introducing the webmasterradio.fm mobile app, now available in the iTunes Store or on Google Play. Listen to our live stream at your leisure and download episodes of the Affiliate Buzz, plus sample episodes of great affiliate marketing shows like Affiliate Marketing Today and Affiliate Marketing Insider. For affiliate marketing news and information you can use right on your smartphone, download the webmasterradio.fm mobile app for iTunes and Google Play now.
Webmasterradio.fm proudly presents the longest-running program on affiliate marketing. Welcome to Affiliate Buzz. Our hosts, James and Arlene Martell, are here to inspire, inform, and motivate you with expert insight, interviews, and information that will increase your bottom line. Advance your affiliate marketing efforts every week on Affiliate Buzz. Now, please welcome James and Arlene.
Hi, it's James Martell here, and welcome to another edition of the Affiliate Buzz. It's great to have you with us. Arlene is away today, but I do have a very special guest on the line, Jonathan Goodman from Halyard Consulting, and we're going to be talking about where to find all the quality content you will ever need. Now, Jonathan he started his career over 20 years ago at the dawn of the internet age, producing websites for Fortune 500 companies. Jonathan holds an MBA from Fairleigh-Dixon University, an MS from the College of New Rochelle, and a BFA from Ringing College of Art and Design. Jonathan's also a friend of the Affiliate Buzz and has been with us a couple of times, most recently to discuss the Google authorship markup and schema. Jonathan, I guess welcome back to the Buzz and welcome home.
Thanks so much for having me, James.
Before we dig into this conversation we're going to have about literally finding all the quality content you could ever need, I know you and I had a chance to discuss this prior to getting on the show here. Tell us a little bit about your most recent conference.
So I went to Vermont. That was a one-day conference. It was a Web Marketing Summit. It was a very nice event. Vermont is beautiful this time of year, of course. And I was speaking about SEO efforts that really truly matter. It was a smattering of the stuff that I had spoken about at SMX, about schema and other things, changes to Panda and Penguin and all of that.
There are so many conferences these days. I know you can do a Google search for just about any topic, whether it be blogging or social media, SEO, affiliate marketing, and it kind of makes me smile a little bit because I remember 10 years ago, the very first conference that I actually attended was in 2002, which would have been right around this time with Commission Junction University down in good old beautiful Santa Barbara, California, and how time has flown over the decade. And now you look around. How many conferences do you either attend or speak at in a year?
Well, I actually use lanyard.com. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It's a great website. It's social media relevant, ties into your Facebook, and actually just this week they tied into LinkedIn. And it allows you to see, if I'm watching where Rand Fishkin is going, or if I'm watching where Danny Dover or Danny Sullivan are going, I can watch their calendar on any of these conferences. So it really allows me to kind of go down the list. I generally look, 4 or 5 months out to see whether or not there are conferences that are looking for guest speakers. There's one happening in Little Rock, Arkansas in March that I submitted to speak over there, and they got back to me. They said, yes, you're definitely going to be on schedule. I said, well, I'm traveling all that way. I submitted 4 proposals. Could I do 2? And so they're going to get back to me to see. Obviously, there's an expense on my part. I have to fly out there, and I have to do hotels. I'm trying to ramp up. For a while, I was going as an attendee to SMX East, SMX Advanced, SES, WordPress, WordCamps, all these different things, and you have to kind of weigh that against the time that you actually need to be in the office. Now, in a later part of my career, I'm speaking at a lot of these events. So I'm trying to speak at about 6 a year, 6, 7, 8 a year, one every other month, depending upon where the location is. I generally try to stay East Coast just for the expense, because I need to fly back and forth fairly quickly, like Vermont. I landed at 12:30 in the morning, and then I presented at 10:30 in the morning there, and then I got on a plane at 8:30 at night, and I got back home by 11:30.
These conferences, I think are probably a perfect segue into, talking about where to find all kinds of quality content. I do know as affiliates, we are always on the hunt for resources where we can shortcut, I guess would be a good word, the finding and the development of content. Finding places where we can get great content very inexpensively. I use, as listeners know, Elance a lot. I know there's a lot of listeners that also use Elance to get articles written. But we always have to come up with ideas as to what to write about. And I know I can spend hours and hours and hours sometimes brainstorming out a series of articles and getting the outlines together. But there's also some other things that I do, and I know you and I discussed it as well. You're doing something similar when it comes to using I guess conferences and other methods to find all that quality content that you'd ever need. Why don't we dig into that topic? We were discussing it before the top of the show here about using conferences as a source for rich detail and rich information to develop content.
Yeah. So take the SMX conference, for example, that I just spoke at. Not only do I have my presentation, but I also have the voice data. You just go up with your iPhone. And all of them have, voice recorders. You just hit that voice recorder. You do your presentation. That's your content. I give it to my transcriber, and she writes it out, and that becomes an article on my website. In addition to that, as an attendee of the conference, I'm actually live blogging during all of these sessions. So I'm, listening to what everybody else is talking about, and I'm gathering up information, and I'm putting it out onto my website immediately.
As affiliates, we cover, obviously, all topics. And in my particular case, I'm usually speaking at something to do with internet or affiliate marketing. You're talking with the SEO audiences. But those people who are listening who have topics that, may be completely unrelated, there's typically still conferences out there that produce information en masse. And, we don't actually even have to attend these conferences. I do know when it comes to, say, Affiliate Summit, Sean Collins releases the prior years or the last couple of years sessions for free, and he publishes the videos of all of these sessions that are, featured down at Commission Junction, at Affiliate Summit. And the nice thing about using this type of content, I guess where we're going with this is you can gather up this type of information, and you can use this as a rich resource to pull down information that can be turned into articles that can be really used in so many different ways. I know if somebody was to do a 1-hour presentation down at Affiliate Summit, and the same with you, Jonathan, how much time would you say you and not to take into all of the years of experience that pours into it automatically, but how long does it take you to put together one of your talks?
Oh, depending upon the level that I believe the audience is at, SMX, I was speaking to what I believed was a fairly educated. I was in the advanced segment, so I really needed to be quite detailed there. I'm definitely doing my share of several hours prior to getting up there and actually speaking. That includes, reading up on all the material to make sure that I'm at the bleeding edge for the technology. And I want somebody in the audience saying, "Oh, this article just came out last week that completely, debunks what you're talking about. So that's critical. Putting it into the PowerPoint presentation, leveling out all the notes all the note points, the bullet points for what I'm going to talk about, because a lot of my presentations, I try not to put the actual verbiage. I'm not reading right off of the slide, so I'm using images to kind of remind myself as to what we want to talk about. It's definitely several hours of research that goes into any of those presentations.
I am the same. When I put a presentation together, I'm speaking at Affiliate Summit again in January, and again, it's same with me. I think about it for weeks, actually, off and on, and I take little notes and doodles, and then when it finally comes down to putting the outline together and then putting the presentation together, that can take me quite a few hours, and I know most speakers do the same. So they bring a wealth of information and knowledge to the table to begin, and then they sit down and begin to organize their thoughts into logical flow, and then they put together a presentation around it. And what I can see we're up against the break, but what I'd like to do when we get back is to talk about how listeners can use any conference or any podcast of the information that's being shared in this rich detail, because in both cases, conferences and podcasting, typically a lot of thought goes into what's being presented, and how a listener can seek out conference material, seek out podcasts, and then use that material in such a way where they're not plagiarizing, they're not scraping, and they can use it to produce really high quality content for their site and for their online business. Jonathan, I'd like to talk about that when we get back. We'll be
more Affiliate Buzz coming up after we hear from our sponsors.
Oh yeah, my day is done. Time for happy hour.
You're already done for the day?
Yeah, because I use CertifiedKnowledge.org. Their PPC tools literally save me hours every day.
How do you keep on top of all of Google's new features?
Easy. With Certified Knowledge, their interactive learning modules keep me up to date. And if there's something I don't know, I can watch their video lessons without having to hunt around the Google help files.
Great. I'm ready to expand my knowledge.
Hi, I'm Brad Geddes. I'm the only leader officially supported by Google to teach the advanced track of the AdWords Seminars for Success. I personally recommend CertifiedKnowledge.org as your one-stop shop for all your PPC needs.
Learn, optimize, connect. Be smart. Go to CertifiedKnowledge.org now.
How much time do you spend on SEO research and competitor analysis? What if we told you that there was an easier, faster way? Searchmetrics SEO software propels you to top positions on search engines around the world with our unique global search, social, and competitive data in over 60 countries.
Celebrating the best in online advertising, the Web Marketing Association presents the 11th Annual Internet Advertising Competition Awards. Submit your banner ads, email ads, rich media, online newsletters, websites, and social media campaigns now by going to www.iacaward.org. Deadline for entries is January 31st, 2013. All winners will have their entry highlighted on the Internet Advertising Competition website, as well as receive a handsome trophy to display or a personalized certificate of achievement. Be honored among your online advertising peers by submitting your entry today into the Web Marketing Association's 11th Annual IAC Awards. Go to www.iacaward.org now.
Hi, this is Ross Dunn, and
this is John Carcutt
from SEO 101 on webmasterradio.fm. From our families to yours, we want to wish you a safe and enjoyable holiday season.
Have a happy holidays, everybody. Get the good gifts this year.
From all of us to all of you, webmasterradio.fm, wishing you happy holidays and a prosperous new year.
Time now to hear some more Affiliate Buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Arlene is away today, but I do have Jonathan Goodman from Halyard Consulting on the line, and we're talking about where to find all the quality content you could literally ever need. And we talked a little bit about conferences, and I'd like to dig into that in just a moment, Jonathan. Let's also talk about podcasts. I do know that I use podcasts a lot to create content, and I'm not talking about specifically actually recording a podcast. I'm talking more about using a podcast, whether it's one that I've done myself or somebody else's podcast, as also another, absolutely rich resource of information. And again, when you're out there looking around the net, there's so many conferences out there, but there's also now so many different podcasts and all kinds of topics, whether maybe head over to petliferadio.com and find some of the funniest pet podcasts you could ever hear, or just do a search for podcast directories to find literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of podcasts out there. And these two are an absolutely great resource of information. Now, Jonathan, I know some people are probably thinking, we can't plagiarize. You don't mean, James, you can just go take these people's information and then reuse it. That's not what we're talking about, is it?
No, not at all. You and I both frequently use Elance, and there are some fantastic editors on Elance. What I like to do is, once I've worked with an editor for a while, I'm able to feel confident to say to them, go and listen to this podcast, extrapolate out all of the really interesting, unique features of what they're talking about, get a couple of quotes from that person that's speaking, find out who that person is, who's running the show, what's their website, and then pull in all of that information. And, here's how I feel about it. Maybe it's a different view than what they're talking about, or maybe I have additional information that I can add and bring to the conversation. It really kind of helps the uninitiated or, somebody who's just not as creative to be able to look at other people's work and say, that's really what I want to be talking about, but I have a difficult time formulating it. Here's my editor. She's going to go and do it for me. And it really works out great.
I do something very, very similar. In fact, I pulled out just a couple of little paragraphs right out of the writer spec that I use anytime we're using a podcast. And I do find that it really shortcuts things for me, too, because if I have to sit down and kind of brainstorm out the idea for a topic and then really dig through and go do all the research on it, which I do a lot, but sometimes you just want to have a different way to go about it, I can go out and find a podcast on just about any topic known to man these days. And then I give them a little instructions that says, I'd like you to have a listen to the podcast below, and this is to the writer, and I give them a link to the podcast. I'd like you to pull out all the tips, the techniques, the strategies being discussed in the podcast. I'd also like you to reference the podcast as the source of information. I'd like you to use the stories, the real names, the names of the people, and the names of the websites that were shared in the podcast. I want these articles to be very real. And then I will give them, maybe some additional instructions on, making sure that we're providing our commentary. So if I've listened to that podcast, which I typically have, I'll have some thoughts on it as well, which I'll give to the writer to include, maybe a quote or two, or something that I agree with or don't agree with. And it just shortcuts things so well. And because in the same idea that it takes time to put a 1 hour talk together at a conference, which you can do the exact same thing with, because somebody else has already taken all that time and care and detail and poured their experience into it. We really can get some really rich resources, can't we?
Yeah, and you're not plagiarizing, because what you really want to do within that article is talk about the person that's speaking about this, and actually, even backlink to their website. Give them full credit for the information that they've provided. And that not only helps you to show that you're working within a larger community, but it really is the reason why they did the podcast in the first place. They're looking for the recognition, they're looking for the audience, and you're just helping them expand their audience.
And that goes exactly the same for the conference material. I know with Affiliate Summit producing and publishing each one of the talks, and there's probably, a dozen, 18 good solid talks at every conference. Every one of those is typically an hour long. Some of them are panels, so you can pull those apart too, and you could develop content around those. But I guess what I would recommend to listeners is to take whatever topic you're in and go have a look around, Google, doing some Google searches here for conference materials. What conferences are in your industry? If you're in the pet business or you're in health and fitness, goodness knows there's all kinds of health and fitness conferences out there. There's all kinds of health and fitness podcasts. And I don't typically spend any more money either with the writers and stuff to have them listen to a podcast. The podcasts are usually 15, 20, 30 minutes long. It doesn't take them a lot of time to go through them. They sit down. They, as Jonathan said, they listen to the podcast. They extrapolate all the high points out of it. They get the tips, the techniques, the strategies. I do want them to share the stories, the real names, the names of the people, and the websites. And as Jonathan said, giving them a link back to the site, to their site, of course, they're going to get a backlink and the recognition and the additional exposure. And Jonathan, in your particular case, and I can see we're coming right up against the break, if somebody was to take one of your talks and to do exactly what we just said, would you have any problem with that?
No, not whatsoever, because as long as they're mentioning my name, hopefully referencing the company that I own and giving me a link showing, who this person is, whether that's to my LinkedIn profile or Google Plus profile or the website halyardconsulting.com itself, it's all valuable to me because I'm reaching an audience that I wouldn't be able to reach anyway.
Jonathan, I can see we are up against the break. We'll be right back.
More Affiliate Buzz coming up after we hear from our sponsors.
How much time do you spend on SEO research and competitor analysis? What if we told you that there was an easier, faster way? Searchmetrics SEO software propels you to top positions on search engines around the world with our unique global search, social, and competitive data in over 60 countries. Gain a competitive advantage today with Searchmetrics.com. That's Searchmetrics.com.
Do you look at the task of ranking your site at the top of the search engines like you would climbing the top of Mount Everest? It doesn't have to be. TopSEOs.com knows how hard that climb can be, and they can make top ranking a reality. Top SEOs sends you to only the right search vendors and agencies that they know will work for you. Since 2002, TopSEOs.com has reviewed and researched the best search engine marketing agencies and solutions providers. Don't risk the cost of falling off the proverbial peak of search rankings. Let Top SEOs give you peace of mind. TopSEOs.com, the independent authority on search vendors.
Looking for a white label SEO and social platform for your clients? Think eBrands. Free and unlimited SEO audit reports. eBrands. Premium Facebook apps and welcome page creators. eBrands. Twitter management app, analytics, and mobile site generators. eBrands. Let eBrands manage your search and social media campaigns and give you and your clients access to their white label dashboard, which have great reports that will wow your clients and deliver great ROI and results. Try eBrands for 30 days. Go to eBrandsWithAZ.com or call 1-866-625-5717. That's eBrands with a Z for eBrands.
Happy holidays.
Whoa.
Happy holidays.
Whoa.
That's about the best singing we've ever done on the show.
Yeah, when I don't say words, it really comes out great. Yeah, we're Michael, Neil, and Laura Ruff,
the LinkedIn Rockstars.
Yes, happy holidays, everybody. We've so much enjoyed being in front of you and being part of your lives, I hope.
And I hope you listen to the show. Hope you enjoy it, and happy holidays.
From all of us to all of you, webmasterradio.fm, wishing you happy holidays and a prosperous new year.
Time now to hear some more Affiliate Buzz on webmasterradio.fm. Here's James and Arlene.
Arlene's skipping out on us today, but I do have Jonathan Goodman from Halyard Consulting on the line, and we're talking about where to find all the quality content you will ever need. And I'd like to, Jonathan, maybe get you to, if you wouldn't mind, encouraging listeners to actually really act upon this, to go out and do a Google search and start looking for this type of information. It can make a really big difference, can't it?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody understands that content is king and that we need to be out there. From my side, I need to be working with clients who understand this, who understand that they need a portion of their work week has to be focused on reaching out to the community online, building content, whether that's voice, video, or articles. All of the voice and video obviously can be transcribed into articles, which help get indexed better in Google. But all of that is so critical.
We also talked about ebooks before we got on the call today. Ebooks is something, of course, I'm very familiar with. I wrote one back in 2002, revisited it a couple of times, and I've written a couple others since. And it's a great way to go. But it too can be a real challenge to pull that information together into an ebook. Anybody that sat down and tried it, it's easy to say I'm going to write an ebook. It's a whole other thing to actually accomplish it and get it out the door. But some of the stuff we're talking about, this can really help in that regard as well, can't it?
Absolutely. Our original conversation, one of the first shows that I did on your show, was talking about the ebook that I was writing about analytics and how I was crowdfunding that and everything. Well, that only until you actually sit down to try to write an ebook do you understand how unbelievably difficult it is to scope out this whole thing. And I'm not a writer. It's not my background. I'm a business and IT guy. So to take the information that I've already written into articles on the website, some of which are transcribed from seminars that I've given, some are opinions, or some of them are even live blogs, and take all of that with a really great editor, and then again repurpose that content in a different format and build it out as an ebook is just another great way to gain a larger audience.
I do know when we put together the Affiliate Marketer's Handbook, we actually came up with the idea. I say we because I had an editor at the time as well, who I still work with to this day. He just pinged me on Skype, actually. We sat down. We're going to put together this little book. We didn't have a name for it yet. We figured it'd take a couple of months at best, and we'd be out the door with it. And I'll tell you what, 6 months later, it was finally done, and it was so much work. And to come up and sit down and come up with, we threw many copies in the garbage. The original ideas for the cover, everything went out the door. In fact, 2 months into it, we really hadn't got anywhere other than realized all the things that we didn't want to do. Whereas today, I do know, just using this strategy that you mentioned, audio, and taking that information and putting it out there, finding the detailed info out there, and I do know you as well. You record things a lot as well, just to help you through it, because you talk a lot better than you write. You said,
yeah. In fact, that's how I'm going to do the analytics book now. Is I'm working with I'm going to set up a podcast. It's going to be a private podcast, and it's going to be me just talking about analytics. The important data, and I'll move through the chapters that I want to talk about and the specific information. But, there's such a huge difference between my ability to talk and my ability to write that this is the way that it's got to get done, because I'm motivated to do it, but to sit down, it would take, 4 times the amount of time that it would if I was just. What I'm doing now is I'm going to go on to the podcast. I'm going to talk about the information and the data and move you through it. And then that's going to get transcribed. That's going to be an article. And then as the chapters build out, once everything is put together, the editor gets it again, and she really builds out a full ebook. So, it's going to take a while still, but not as much. At least it's getting done.
I do something very similar, where I will gather up all of my notes and all of my thoughts for a particular, it might be an article, it could be a chapter of a book, where I'll get everything. I might have just listened to a podcast that was really interested, or I've gathered up some articles that I thought were really presenting something in a unique sort of way, and I'll get all this in front of me, and then I'll just put my headset on, and I'll have a conversation with the writer about what I'm looking at, and I'll just go 10, 15, 20 minutes having a discussion in a logical chronological order that I think the chapter should flow out of. And then I could pause and talk and say, well, you may want to go research this a little bit and talk a little bit about that. But it's all about coming up with the rich detail and information. And conferences is just a great place to do that, and podcasts as well, Jonathan. One final thing, and maybe just as we wrap her up, I do know you've launched a brand new directory that listeners probably would be interested in.
Yeah, directories are incredibly important. In SEO, we're always trying to add to good, viable directories. And what I've actually done is expanded halyardconsulting.com to have in itself a directory within the website. And it's a professional directory, so lawyers and doctors and other SEO professionals, everybody can come in and put in their content for their business. And the yearly fee right now, we're running it's 99 cents for the year. So I just want a lot of companies out there to take the opportunity and go in and build up the directory.
And that's at halyardconsulting.com. Could you spell that for us?
HALYARDCONSULTING.com.
Jonathan, for anybody that would like to get a hold of you to talk, discuss your SEO services, how would they get a hold of you?
I can be reached at jgoodman@halyardconsulting.com. I'm on Twitter at halyardconsult, CONSULT. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and you can always email me or you can call me at 800-641-9157.
Jonathan, I can see we are out of time. You can follow me at James Martell on Twitter. New episodes of the Affiliate Buzz can be heard every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific. You can access the archives for our previous shows on webmasterradio.fm, jamesmartell.com, and on iTunes. Jonathan, thanks so much. And to our listeners, thanks for listening to another edition of the Affiliate Buzz.
This has been a presentation of webmasterradio.fm, the world's largest business-to-business radio and podcast network. We welcome you to sample past episodes of this program, as well as our complete library of programs, on demand or on the air via our 24/7 live audio stream at www.webmasterradio.fm. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.